So as an introduction, in the vibrant world of the hospitality industry, the partnership between hotels and online travel agencies has become a significant game changer. As digital platforms revolutionize the way consumers plan and book their travel, OTAs have emerged as essential allies, offering consumers an efficient platform for comparing and booking accommodations. Actually, not only accommodations, but even flights and other things that you would like to do when you travel. This has led to a symbiotic relationship between hotels and OTAs. OTAs provide hotels with increased visibility access to a global customer base, while hotels offer OTAs a diverse range of accommodations to present to their users. So it's actually a give and take. Despite the challenges that may arise, such as inventory management and pricing, the benefits of these partnerships are substantial. Today, we will explore the positive aspects of this relationship, discuss the opportunities it presents, and identify strategies for hotels to effectively navigate and maximize their partnerships with the OTAs. Okay, and ladies and gentlemen, I would like to present to you our panel, the members of the panel. Let's start with Chitra here. Please introduce yourself.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Okay, my name is Chita. I'm here representing the IHGMA, Indonesia Hotel Manager Association, and today I'm in charge for GH Universal Hotel Bandung. It's a 5-star hotel in Bandung.
Okay, thank you very much. Pa?
Thank you. So, hi everyone, good afternoon. So, my name is Yatun Santika. I'm the Director of Sales and Marketing of Liberta Hotels. So, we currently running 12 hotels. We starting as a hotel management in 2020, just right before the pandemic.
Oh, so just right before the pandemic.
Yes.
Okay.
So we are quite new, a baby here in Indonesia. So yeah, thank you, Pak Chris.
Thank you very much. Pak Hendro?
Yeah, so hey everyone, my name is Hendro. I'm from OYO, Indonesia. Currently we are handling around 3,000 properties across Indonesia. Yeah, it's basically Sabang sampai Merauke. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And last but not the least.
Hi everyone, my name is Santosh Kumar. I work with Booking.com. My remit is I take care of the Indian subcontinent as well as Indonesia. I've been at Booking now for roughly about 18 months or so. And before this, I spent some time on the business travel side. For the last 10 years, I was with American Express and HRS, and before that in the consulting world. Good to be here, good to be back in Indonesia. And I have to say, Chris, this is my first conference attending or speaking in Indonesia, so really looking forward to it.
This will be very interesting.
Yes, and please come and give me your feedback later on how I did.
Please, please, please.
Thank you.
Okay, before we start, please remember there's lido.com here. If you would have questions, please scan the QR code so that you can type in your questions and we will attend to them shortly. So let's jump into the session immediately by a question to Santosh. How have the relationships between hotels and OTAs evolved over the past decades? And what key factors have driven these changes?
Okay, on the hot seat. Look, I mean, I think, if you start first with the macro factors, right, in terms of what's happened globally and also in Asia, I think, obviously there has been an increase in, when we look at the online space, there's been increased smartphone penetration as well as in internet penetration, and much more so you could argue in many of our countries in Asia Pacific. And that has undoubtedly led to an increase in online e-commerce transactions. Mm-hmm. Second is, when we look at the demographics in several of our countries, including in Indonesia where we are today, with over 50% of the population here kind of, in the Gen Z millennial category as well, combined with, increase in disposable incomes that have happened in the last 20 years. And also when you see global mobility has increased, right?
Yes.
You know, on average today, globally, a person can travel visa-free to 90 plus destinations, 90 plus countries. You know, if you go back 15 years ago, that number was sitting at about 50 plus destinations. Right?
And you're even lucky if you can go to one country. I mean, it wasn't that easy before. And
That's right,
accessible.
right. So I think the ease of travel, the global mobility that has happened, and also the easing of border restrictions has really propelled the rise of travel in general, right? So people not only are traveling more, but there are more people traveling today. That's also the factor. And when we look at the, you know, coming to Chris's question around the OTA and the, you know, the partner relationship, you know, I mean, let's face it, right? Obviously, I tend to think of it as a sibling relationship, right? It's
Yes.
never been, it's always been a bit of tough love, right?
Yes.
Between OTAs and accommodation partners. But I have to say that that relationship has really evolved.
Yes.
I think when you look back a few years ago, maybe a decade or even prior to the pandemic, you know, I think it was a very transactional relationship. It was one where, you know, you could say that probably both parties were a bit selfish in nature. You know, OTAs were obviously trying to increase their influence and power in that relationship, but also at the same time, you know, partners on the other hand were being very protective about their turf, as understandably you can expect them to. But I think when I look back at the transition and coming to where we are today, I feel that that relationship has really matured to an extent where, especially when I look at the Asian markets, there is a lot more flexibility and willingness to get creative in that partnership. Okay, and it's become, you know, I would say a trusted partnership, especially when I think back or when I look at some of our most strategic partners that we have, you know, across my entire region. I would say the best partnerships are the ones that are built on trust, right, and collaboration, and that is working really, really well. You know, I think for us at Booking, the way we see this is we are not just in the business of driving demand, right? Yes, of course, that is the key to the relationship in terms of being able to send more travelers or customers to you as partners. But at the end of the day, we look at it as more than that, right? We see ourselves as a two-sided marketplace. And one of the key things, the orientation that we have is, you know, it's not just customers or travelers on one side, but we also look at partners as customers. That's the orientation. We are actually changing the way we approach our partnerships by looking at our accommodation partners also as customers. Okay?
Sorry, Santosh. Just to add to what you were saying, I think as a hotelier myself, one of the things that it has evolved in such a way that you're not just a selling partner to us hoteliers. I mean, not only Booking.com, but OTA in general, but more of a research partner as well. I mean, because of the technology that you guys have, you tell us hoteliers what these eyeballs are looking for. For example, all of a sudden we get emails from you guys asking us, improve the photos of your toilets, for example, or I don't know, improve the photos of your lobby, okay? Because people are looking for it, and this is really substantial, you know, effort, because otherwise we need billions to just figure out what other people would need, right? Or what they're looking for.
Yeah, and I think the key to that, Chris, is, you know, when I talk to my teams, the one thing I tell them is we need to be trusted advisors, okay, to all our partners. So it's not about making a sale. It's about being a trusted advisor, right?
Okay.
And if we can play that role for you really, really well, then I think we've achieved what we need to set out to do.
Well said. Thanks for that, Santosh. Now, let's go to Pahendro. In what ways do you think OTAs impact the revenue management strategies of hotels in general? And how can hotels optimize their presence on these platforms?
Okay, thank you, Chris. So I think in this case, I like what Santos have said. It is tough love because in a way we are the OTA's customers, right? And we are using their products in order to generate revenues.
Correct.
So one unique thing about OYO, because OYO is two things. One, we are an accommodation partner, but we are also a platform we have our own app, we have our own website, right? And with OTAs, of course, how to manage the revenue maximization is also to enroll in various campaigns
Okay.
that they do have. So many OTAs, not just Booking.com, Traveloka, Agoda, they all have their own campaigns, which we are enrolling for.
Okay.
And of course, what Chris, you said, maximizing the content.
Yes. So what other things, I mean, do you take advices from these OTA partners in terms of contents, or how do you do this nowadays?
So for us, we have, honestly, every 2 weeks,
Okay.
we are having a connect with our account manager in
very
each
good.
of the OTAs. So they will be mentioning that, oh, in these cities, you are growing, in this location, we need more support from you as an accommodation partner.
Okay.
And content-wise, yes, we know that whenever the hero image that we put is a swimming pool, the bookings rise.
That's a very important thing, because a very good tip from Pahendro there. Every time you put swimming pool, the bookings, the clicks improve, huh? Very
Correct,
good.
correct.
Now, thank you for that. Next, I have a question for you, Payatun. Customer loyalty and branding this time. How do hotels balance the need to build direct customer relationships and brand loyalty while leveraging the reach of the OTAs?
Okay, thank you, Chris, for the question. And yeah, this is also one of the challenges that hotel facing nowadays, to balancing the customer relationship and also the brand loyalty, while also leveraging the OTA. So to find the balance, we have to measure the ongoing process adjustment between the market trend, also the customer preferences.
Okay.
And also, this is crucial for us as hotelier to maximize the direct booking and also the benefit from partnership with the OTA. So there are some, I believe everyone here has a different experience related to the maintaining brand loyalty. But something that we can do, like we should have our own brand website, where we can sell our product directly to our website in order to get the direct booking. Like we can offer also the special offer in our website, loyalty maybe, and then also we can maintain also our customer engagement through our social media.
Correct.
And then we can do also like email marketing targeted to our past guests who already stay with us, then keep them informed about what happened in our hotel and what the promo that currently available. And also don't forget to always maximize the OTA partnership, because they have more wider audience rather than our own website, right?
Definitely.
And don't forget also to always measure and also readjust the customer trend, customer behavior, and the market trend. So the key is always adjusting and always flexible to the market and customer preferences.
Correct. Agree with you.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, long and short of it, like some of you might know, I also came from the other side once upon a time. And back in the day, we always believe on the concept of billboard effect.
Yeah.
And that's exactly why we partner with OTAs. And sometimes we tend to forget this fact that our friends from that side of the fence is there to help, okay? Putting in mind what we call the billboard effect.
Yeah. And also don't forget, like Santos mentioned earlier, that they try to be the trusted suggest partner for us. That it's really helps because they have the analytical, they have the machine, the tools that we don't have in our, like, especially a small hotel like us.
Agree.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Now, let's go to Sita. Data sharing and analytics this time. What is the role of data sharing between hotels and OTAs? How can both parties utilize shared data to enhance customer experience and operational efficiency?
Okay, thank you, Chris. So if we talk about OTA and hotel, as Santos said that in Indonesia, hotel tuh ngomel melulu sama OTA tapi dicintai, diperlukan
Silakan.
gitu ya. Ngomel terus tapi balik lagi. Itu hubungan kita dengan OTA and hotel. So if we talk about the OTA is a channel, but sometimes we forgot that it's not only distribution for sales, channel for sales, it is also marketing channel. Especially for the hotel, new hotel, then rebranding hotel, then hotels, independent hotels. This is really OTA. They really need the OTA.
Okay.
So the data we prepare the rate, we prepare the allotment.
Yes.
Then OTA will give us the awareness.
Correct,
Yeah,
correct.
this is very important.
Yes,
so
indeed.
The data, yeah.
Yes, because just like what Payaton also said earlier, it's very important. I mean, the reach and the availability of the resources of the OTAs is something that even if we'd like to have, unfortunately, well, some of us might be very lucky to have those, but unfortunately not everybody.
And that's very important. But sometimes the hotel only focus to the commission.
Okay.
Commission, and then forget the bright side of the commission. We have the awareness for marketing, and which is very expensive for the hotel.
Yes.
We cannot buy, or we cannot buy all the audience in digital, right?
Yes.
It's very expensive.
Correct.
So we distribution with the OTA,
And
the
just
marketing
like
channel.
sorry. Just like when I was a lot younger, I always teased my bosses, our director of sales and marketing, that we can never see them in the office because they were always traveling. And how much money did the hotels spend for all their travels every year to join all the road shows, all the, I don't know, trade shows everywhere before the OTAs came. And even if we flew and spent billions of rupiahs going around the world, you don't know if you have a booking after that meeting. I mean, seriously, even during my generation, we will fly and enjoy those trips, and then going back to Asia, we pray that a booking can come in, at least a booking. Okay, but now at least we don't spend this, and our friends help. Now, thank you very much, Sita. I would like to ask again now, Santosh, how are emerging technologies like AI, VR, and blockchain, and I remember Laura talking a lot about these things, and Glenn, influencing the partnership dynamics between hotels and OTAs?
Yeah, I think this is a very exciting development, right? For me, actually, I wanted to also, I don't know if you all have noticed it. I was in Bali 2 weeks ago, and the election campaigns. I noticed the posters, the use of AI in the posters. Very interesting, right? You would not have thought that AI will be making its presence felt even in a general election.
Yeah.
But I mean, that example aside, I think when we think about artificial intelligence, for us as a tech-driven company, AI is not new, okay? We've been using AI for the last 15 plus years in our operations. And artificial intelligence, it might have not been at the forefront of what you might have seen as a partner or as a guest, but it's really been the backbone of some of our product development. Some of the examples I can take is one in terms of, a lot of the machine translations that we do. Like for instance, today our platform, both our website and app, is available in 46 languages across the world. And a lot of that content translation, when you think of it, we're dealing with 29 million listings globally, right? It's practically impossible. We would need like an army of humans just to do the content translation, right? Of course. So obviously that's not been practical, and that's where AI has stepped in beautifully, right? Machine translation. In fact, we were powering Google's machine translation for a long time, their database. Another one is in the curbing of fraud. You know, fraud is, of course, you know, increased over the years with online transactions in general, but that's where AI has been another really interesting feature, right? Where it's helped the curb of fraud in a very big way. Now when I think of AI, I think one of the interesting use cases obviously is the conversational AI, the chat GPT piece, which is becoming very sexy, right?
Yes.
But I think there, the use case is really driven around personalization, okay? Because as we get into the different customer segments that exist, right? I think there was a very interesting session that I caught just before the break as well, where they were talking a little bit about this, right? AI is helping in many ways, right? One is the taking away a lot of those menial tasks that people do and helping them focus more on creativity, right? You know, we all have brains and we need to exercise them, and that's where AI really helps take away a lot of that, you know, stuff that we don't like doing, right?
True.
Which is repetitive, which is manual in nature. And then I think the other thing is, you know, when we think about now targeting to specific customer segments, right? Because more and more people are driven by experiences. You know, we put out in the last year, 2023 and 2024, all of the travel trend reports and research that we are putting out is telling us that people are valuing experiences much more than they were previously. Okay, and especially the new generation. And that's where I think AI will play another interesting role, right? In terms of helping people cater to those segments. And also the final piece is, I would say, around the customer service angle. Okay, if we can use AI intelligently to take away the first level of customer support, right? Because in travel, we know that there are a lot of common things like rules and regulations that exist which have a standard template response, right? If we can use AI for that, you know, in our customer service functions, I think that's where it will work really, really well.
Yes.
But I think it's a very interesting space. I believe we are still at the very nascent stages of what AI can really do for us. But very keen to see what happens.
Yeah, you know, Santosh is correct, because back in the day, as I said, when I was once upon a time in the other side, when I was working in a very small OTA company called Expedia that time. So we had we didn't call them AIs, or we didn't call them artificial intelligence. We used to call them robots, or, well, of course we had the sales force. So, but yeah, I remember I will bump into a hotelier, and the hotelier will thank me for greeting them during their birthday with a very warm email. And I would just say, oh yeah. I didn't send that email. The robots did send those emails. Okay.
We send our own emails, Chris.
Oh. Yes, but there were, this can be set up, etc. And this has been here for quite a long time, actually. Now, Pahendro, how can hotels and OTAs collaboratively manage, this is something that you'd like to hear, manage overbookings and cancellations to minimize negative customer experiences?
Got it. Very important also for us as a accommodation partner, right? From our side, what we do is that we try to get as accurate as possible our inventory in any OTAs. So because we are in hotel chains across the world, that we are trying to have a direct integration with any OTAs.
Okay.
So API integrations are there. Secondly is that we have a dynamic inventory management system.
Okay.
So that we are predicting, like, okay, last Christmas, how many bookings did we generate and OTAs generate, and then we manage to update the inventory real time at that point of time, right? Number 3, I think there will be a forecasting method. Same thing like that, but this one have human intervention, where our call center will do something called, we call it as pre-check-in confirmation.
Okay.
So we'll call, Pak Chris, like, are you coming? Because in some OTAs also we have the pay at hotel mechanism, so that we are able to release the inventory and new customer can make another booking.
Okay, got it. Thank you very much for that. Now, I have a question for you, Payatun. how do hotels maintain competitive pricing? I see some of the questions here too. How do hotels maintain competitive pricing and differentiation in a market dominated by OTA listings?
Yes, I believe this is another challenge for us as a hotelier, how to maintain the competitive pricing.
Yes.
While also dominated by the OTA.
Yes.
So one key factor is the dynamic pricing model. I believe everyone is
Yes.
familiar with this. So we have to, again, agile and adjust to the market trend and also the local event and also customer preferences. And don't forget also to always check the competitor pricing, where we have to adjust accordingly based on also pricing that competitor have.
Correct,
So,
correct.
as I mentioned earlier, to have our own brand website, the marketing, email marketing, targeted marketing, and also the social media, also one of the factors that keep us stand out from the crowd, especially. And again, measure the performance, our performance, and adjust again to the market. So basically, the key is the adaptive factor for us as a hotel.
Got it, got it. Thank you very much for that. Now, I have a question for both Sita and Santosh. Future trends, and after this, we will be addressing your questions next. By the way, what if you do not have a question just yet, what you need to do is to scan the QR code, choose the question that you think also is in your mind, and click on the like so that it would go up and we can read it. Okay? So, future trends and predictions. So, both from the IHGMA hotel side and now with the OTA side too. What are the anticipated future trends in the hotel, OTA relationship, and how can hotels prepare to adapt to these changes? 2 point of views, OTA side and hotel side. Who wants to go first? Okay.
You want me to go
Pasatosh?
first?
Yes.
Okay. Look, I mean, I think there are 2 or 3 points that I'd like to make, right? Number one is when I think about customer orientation, at the end of the day today, there is still friction in the travel journey. Okay, I don't think every part of that travel journey is really connected really well. Okay, and I think that's where this relationship is going to evolve. The relationship needs to evolve to a point where both the OTA and the partner are working toward addressing the customer equally well. Because I don't think anybody truly really owns the customer entirely, right? The customer has a choice at the end of the day. How much ever you want to try to control the customer, we have to remember that the customer has their choice, right? And I think that's where this relationship will evolve if both OTAs and partners can continue to work together collaboratively to handle friction in the customer journey, right? And what we are doing at Booking is we have this vision of a connected trip where we believe that we want to be able to offer not just accommodation, but flights, cars, hotels, experiences. And for us, interestingly, what we've seen is since we launched flights, we have now flights working in about 60 countries globally. 20% of the flight customers are actually booking accommodation for the first time on our platform. So that's driving incremental demand to our accommodation partners, right? So that's one. I think the second thing is, I think we constantly try to talk to our partners to understand what they want. And one of the things that's coming out very strongly is they want more control and they want more empowerment when it comes to data, both their own data as well as the market benchmarks. Okay, so I think that's another area where I feel the relationship will continue to evolve between OTAs and partners in terms of the data piece, right?
Okay.
How can we give partners more data that's available at their fingertips so they can take better decisions related to revenue management and distribution, right?
Got it.
And I think the third thing I would mention is around other topics, right? When I said earlier about the relationship maturing, one example I can talk about is sustainability, okay? Because of the kind of scale and access we have, and because of the, let's say, the influence that we are able to provide in the industry, one of the areas that we take now very seriously is responsible tourism or sustainability, right? And
Okay.
there, I think that's another angle where we are working very closely with partners to bring about more awareness and the urgency to change or expedite their efforts towards becoming more sustainable. So a couple of examples I can take there is one, we've just recently launched a few courses in collaboration with UNWTO that's available to our partners globally. If you'd like to learn more about how can you become more sustainable in your day-to-day operations, right?
Okay.
The other thing is we have our sustainable travel program, which we've launched now globally. We have thousands of partners who are enrolled on it globally as well as in Indonesia, where we do a grading, across 3 levels. And we recognize that we are not in this alone. So we not only have our own travel program certification, but we also are able to link other external third-party certifications into the program as well. So we
Okay.
don't mandate partners, right?
Okay.
So I think I see the relationship sort of evolving
Yes.
in those areas as well, Chris.
Got it, got it. Thank you for that. How about in the hotel perspective this time?
Okay, for the future, yeah. It's, same with Santos, but this is very strategic collaboration, I think.
Okay.
Very personalized to the hotel because when we talk about OTA, we talk about the big data inside.
Yes.
Yeah, we can see the customer behavior, we can see the customer preference.
Yes.
So maybe the OTA can send us the personalized strategic collaboration with the each hotel.
Correct, correct,
Then
correct.
the transparencies, I think, yeah, because the question is very
Related.
daily our case, yeah. I
Yes.
think so. Transparencies from the OTA, then
Transparencies, yeah?
transparencies.
Okay.
Okay. Then the big data, I think.
The big data.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. Because, like, I personally, we're collaborating very much with OTAs because of the big data.
Yeah.
And it helps us, as I said, billboard effect. Now, thank you very much for that. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to answer some of the questions, but what we will do is so that it is going to be for everybody, I will be rephrasing some of the questions so that it's answerable by everybody. Let me start first by asking, for example, Payaton, how many hotels do you have?
So we are currently running for 12 hotel live.
Okay.
But ongoing projects still a few hotel on project.
Okay, very
Yeah.
good. And then, Pahendro, you have 3,000 properties you mentioned, right? Okay, great. So let me ask a question that was posted. Just a little reverse, and not only Booking.com, but OTA per se. You guys are managing portfolios just like I do manage portfolios. Question, when an OTA approaches you and asks you to lower your rates, how do you sort of handle this? Or what can you suggest in general? Can hotels handle this?
Okay, can I start?
Yes.
So yes, usually OTA will ask us for lowering rate or special discount on certain campaign. What we do is usually we join the campaign, especially we benefit from the the wider audience, for the banner, for the marketing. But we as a hotelier also have our own strategy, so we usually will adjust the rate after the discount.
Okay.
Because I believe everyone here have the tools, like maybe the channel manager. Now the channel manager already have the tools where we can like mark up or something, or dynamic pricing is there also.
Okay.
So that is the tools that we usually use, while we also having the benefit from the OTA with the campaign, with
Okay.
the marketing side.
Got it.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
How about Pahendro? In general, what do you think? What's your advice?
So I think in general, OTAs, any OTAs would want the most competitive rate.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just one OTA. Say OTA A is asking for us to lower price, then the other OTA will also ask the same thing, even lower than the first one, right? The benefit for us having large inventories is that we have operations team on the ground, which speaks with the owners or partners, right, in a daily basis. So in that case, usually what we do is that we technically ask for a bit of time, 2 to 3 days, so that we can align everyone. There will be no bad customer experience.
Okay, very good. I have an answer because this question I'm addressing to with many portfolio. Okay, now I would like to answer this question as an MM before or as a market manager. You know, all of us were trained to do this. Okay, FYI, companies, OTAs are investing a lot of money for market managers to get trained. But let me tell you what they're expecting you to tell them too. So for example, me, when I was market manager and I tell you to lower your price, I expect you to answer me by saying, do you know my occupancy? Do you think there is a need for, why do you think there's a need for me to lower my rate? So it should be a discussion. It is not like lower your rate and then, oh, why are you asking me to lower my rate? I see it as an opportunity. For example, I have 500 hotels. Who knows, 10 of the hotels need help and might need some special attention. It doesn't mean that I have to give in to everything. The point only there in this general advice is that when you stumble upon that question, you are also expected to say, why do you think there is a need for me to decrease my rate? Are you aware of my current occupancy? Do you know I'm running 99% year to date? So, so excuse me. No, I mean seriously, that's what we're expecting because who knows? After that, there's another question. It might be, oh, is that so? How about we improve your contents? But if you just focus on that simple question, you lose everything already. Am I right, Santosh?
Absolutely. I was going to say that, look, I can't speak for the other OTAs, right? But what I can tell you is when we think about pricing in general, we believe that pricing, ultimately, the partner owns pricing, okay? We don't touch or manipulate pricing in any way.
Yes.
We should not be. As simple as that. You are the decision maker, okay? We want to give you the tools so that you can take the right decision. As Chris said, I think it's a conversation. Yes, of course, we would want prices to be competitive because we don't want that customer going and shopping somewhere else. So therefore, we want the price to be competitive. But at the same time, if you want to increase your ADR, great, go for it. I mean, we win, you win, right? We make more, you make more if you increase your ADRs.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't really see why that is a issue.
Yeah, or honestly, once upon a time when I was market manager, I probably am expecting you go like, okay, I cannot give you special rate for my standard rooms, but I have 100 suite rooms, which is not moving at all. Shall we talk about them? Or, you know what? My restaurants are full during breakfast, but completely empty during lunch and dinner. Shall we talk about that? Right? So as you can see, there are strategies that doesn't leave you trapped in the first question. And it is not an attack. Okay? So it's meant to start a conversation. It's a market manager's way of telling you, good morning, how are you? So that's just how it is. Okay? So I hope that answers that question. Let me just get another one. Oh, we have a minute. Okay. Here, Santosh, sorry. Some of them specifically said, Chris, shut up, let Santosh speak. Okay. Okay. For Santosh, what is your standpoint in general on when hotel strategy is to drive direct bookings? You're having coffee, let's say with Chris, and I go like, Santosh, direct booking for me.
Well, I wouldn't have a job then, would I? No, look, I mean, at the end of the day, when we think about, direct versus third parties, what we have to understand is customers today want choice, okay? And I think our job as an OTA is to drive incremental demand to you, okay?
Correct.
You might have your demand channels already that are existing, right, from your regular sources. And our hope is to be able to bring that wider choice to your doorstep, okay?
Yes.
And I think when we think about also the last 3 years especially, you know, when the pandemic struck, there was a rise in direct bookings, which was logical, right? Because there was those safety concerns, there was, you know, a lot of uncertainty around rules and regulations,
Yes.
and direct bookings actually shot up a fair bit in that initial part of the pandemic. But, you know, now, when we see now, actually, price shopping has actually increased because one, people are more comfortable coming out of the pandemic, and second, there are inflationary concerns. There's so much geopolitical stuff going on
Yes.
that people want the choice, right?
Yes.
And so, therefore, you know, I don't think direct bookings in an ideal world might exist, but we are not in an ideal world,
Yes.
right?
We're done, but I can't stop my mouth, I'm sorry. So, my only advice, okay, when you're, because it's everybody's dream to be fill it up with direct bookings, that's completely fine. But to be very honest again, if I am a market manager still, graduate already, if somebody tells me, you know, we want direct booking, I go like, I understand, but may I ask what's your occupancy? And if they tell me I'm 99%, I said, shall we discuss what we can do with your 1%? I won't give up until you're not full. So there. You can have direct business with 99%, but unless you tell me you're 100%, we still need to have coffee, you know. Okay, and with that, thank you very much, everybody. I hope you learned something from us.